That's my prayer today, is that He fills you with a passion for righteousness. Lord, my prayer today is that Jesus will guide you through every storm. Yes, every storm. Lord, every storm. This is my prayer today.
I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out, righteousness. Welcome, everybody, to the Trust in the Lord Hour. I am your host. I'm here. I'm back in the saddle, back in the seat, but not for long. And by the way, thank all of y'all for coming back to the broadcast and reviewing some of the broadcasts that we have, previously broadcast. In fact, we are presently running what I find like the crown jewel of some of the crown jewels of our broadcast series is the 49 Sabbaths. We've been running that now, and we're going to continue to run it because I'm going to take a few more days off working on some items. I'll get to that in just a moment, but thank all of y'all. I'm back today, and I figured I'd come back today because today is July 3rd. Generally I don't celebrate birthdays. I don't do that, but, I was spiritually born on July 3rd, 1976. And Elder Noah called me this morning and said that was 47 years ago. And then 15 years after my salvation, God dropped the outlaw prophecy and vision into my heart. And so he gave a countdown. I think he's been a member of this church for the last 18 years. And God has given him a mathematical rundown. So I had a little chat with him this morning. But we're running the 49 Sabbaths. And thank all of you for giving me some time to actually not be live day from day to day. And we're going to see that quite a bit over the summer months. Let me say something to you. I am presently going pro se in the Southern District Court here of New York, a federal court, filing against the Bank of New York Mellon and against the state of New York. I want you to think about this for a second. Everybody give heads up. Everybody heads up. Everybody heads up. By the way, Bob Jackson, your song came in the other week, and I wanted the media staff to put some video and visuals to it. They haven't done that yet, so don't blame me. I like the song, Bob. But I told them and everybody's been running around with all kinds of different things going on, holidays, graduation season, and the media staff has been off as well. But as soon as we get some visuals, Bob, we're gonna upload it. By the way, we broadcast a song this past Sabbath, Farther Longer, 3 beautiful young girls singing. They hit us on Facebook for broadcasting that song. But at any rate, all right, so everybody heads up. I have brought a case against the Bank of New York Mellon, or the Mellon Bank, and against the city of New York for a total of $70 million, including a group called the MTAG Group. And I want you to understand something, why you're not going to see me as often live over the next month or so, and why I'm going to be very involved in the process of the work. I want everybody to understand this, that the Bank of New York, the Mellon Bank, a $50 trillion institution, have got a college of lawyers. They have got an army of lawyers, and it's just me. So you have to understand and they're sending filings, and there are all kind of rules that the federal court requires you to meet. You just can't walk into federal court and start doing and saying things. There are rules, there are regulations, there are stipulations, there's all kinds of things. Forget about what's happening on the case. You got to meet the requirement. I have to meet the requirements, the filing requirements of the federal court, the U.S. federal court. then I'm fighting. Now listen to this very carefully. James David Manning. I am up against probably as many as 40 lawyers from the Bank of New York Mellon who are all working on the case, trying to get my case thrown out. There's many as 40 lawyers. Now there's one lead lawyer, but there's probably as many 40 lawyers that I am up against. That's just with the Bank of New York, the Mellon Bank. Now, when you go to the city of New York, where I'm suing Mayor Eric Adams, and the entire law department knows of what's going on, and maybe there are 20 or 30 lawyers on the law department that are also working. So I could be up against as many, reasonably thinking. Right now, I'm just one person who's not even a lawyer. I'm fighting the writings, the case law, the stipulations, and the investigations, and everything else. I am fighting as many as 50 lawyers. So you have to understand, I'm busy. I'm up all night, all day, all night, working on the matter, and I'm constantly talking to the Lord about it. So when you understand, when you're looking from that perspective, when you got a bank, they got a whole lot of lawyers on their payroll. I've just got Jesus. Somebody said that's enough. Well, you're right about that, bro. You're right about that. But I want you to understand that. So you're not going to see me live over the next month or so. And the other thing is I just need some rest. I'm tired. I'm tired, everybody. I'm flagged out. I'm just, COVID-19, I haven't been on a vacation. I haven't been out to the west. I've been out to the mountains. I'm tired. But I want you to know, please understand this. And I'm not complaining, nor am I indicating any kind of sense of laws. But I'm probably fighting as many as 50 lawyers all by myself. Now, I do have a legal team. I have some members of the congregation, just regular members of the church like you, that are helping me. We get into discussions about it. We look at the case, and, I've got a communications director and all of that. I got that, but it's really just me against the banks, lawyers, and the city of New York lawyers. So understand, I got a fight on my hands, and I'm going to win it. Because you said a few moments ago, when you got Jesus, you got enough. And you know doggone well, I got Jesus, and he's my lawyer. So it's two of us. Let's put it that. It's two of us against the world, if you will, against the Bank of Mellon, New York. So I want you to know that. And so Pastor Manning running these reruns, I saw that last year. I don't know why. Why don't he done got lazy or something? Why come he ain't? And then on the Manning report, all this new going on, and what happened with DeSantis, and what happened with Trump, and what happened with Chris Christie, and he ain't getting us no report. Ain't telling us nothing. He just what he doing, hiding? He done got lazy. What he on vacation? Why come he ain't live like he used to be? Oh boy. Anyway, but no, so here, that's the deal, right? So by the way, I'm gonna beat these lawyers. They're gonna look real. Can I just pull your coat to this? These lawyers gonna look real stupid when they get beat by a preacher who's not even a lawyer in Harlem. Or 50 of them. They're going to look real stupid. But I need your prayers, and I need your financial support. Do I need to tell you about that? See, I knew you were getting around to something. No, I need your prayers. I ask you to pray for me. Please pray for me, and pray for Elizabeth, and pray for the media staff. Pray for everybody. I'm working half the crazy. And then, of course, the financials, it helped to support your tithes and your offering. We very much appreciate it. You give it. It's needed. I'm telling you, it is needed. So y'all try to hang in there with me while me and Jesus, or Jesus and I, which is more appropriate, me and Jesus, or Jesus and I, fight these lawyers from the bank and the lawyers from the city of New York. Okay, so I wanted to get that. Now, there's another thing going on. There's a heat alert across the South where many of y'all are right now. I got a lot of people in the South, especially Japheth people, that listen to me. And it's hot down there in Texas, down in Louisiana, down there, in Minister Honecker's territory. 110 degrees down there. I don't even know if he's out and about. So hot down there. By the way, Minister Honig has a beautiful, beautiful grandchildren and children too. I think he got a son named James or something, John. But he's got beautiful grandchildren. Anyway, it's hot. So I'm praying for y'all. It's hot up here in New York, too. It's going to be 90 degrees, but 90 ain't as bad as 100 and 109, like they got 110 and 113. And, you know, that's a lot. People are actually dying of heat exposure. So you have my prayers. All right, so let's get started. Did we get Bob Jackson's song yet? Did it come up yet? Did we get it? Who? The audio. Yeah, we just got there. But Bob, listen, I'm going to get around to it, all right? But the point is, I would do. You didn't do any video. Maybe you can do a video or what you want. All right. All right. So here's what I want to be able to do today. On the, I just want to review a couple of things that a couple of weeks ago, the Lord Jesus showed me that people don't love him no matter what he has done, and we're in this postmodern Christian. I don't know if we're probably past postmodern Christianity, and people have just don't love Jesus. There's too many other things that have got their attention. That's just, you know, I think that you would look at the analogy of Jesus and the average so-called Christian today, married to one woman, but has to work. And this is how I see it. And a lot of people say, why you talk about run down the Christian, talking about Robert Jefferson, talking about Billy Graham, you know, talking about Kenneth Copeland, running these preachers down. Here's how I see it. I see Christians today as a man married to one woman, but he has to go to work every day in a cat house with at least 100 women in there that are prostitutes. So imagine, that's how I see the church going today. Yeah, he's married, but he goes to work every day in a house of prostitution, a cat house, with 100 women who are active day and night, and he has to work there with all that going on around him. That's how I see Christians. There's just so many of the things that Christians are involved in that takes their love, that takes their attention away from the love of Jesus. And they don't love him, and the Lord showed me this. They don't love Jesus anymore. And he knew this was coming too, by the way. He knew it was coming. And that's why he has called for the tribulation to settle the score. Now, I don't know if you want to say that Jesus is trying to get even or anything like that. But he did say vengeance is mine. But the average Christian, now I don't care whether it's Kenneth Copeland or whether it's that boy Osteen or whoever that is, whatever his name is, the average Christian, whether they're Methodist, Baptist, Southern Baptist, Pentecostal, Presbyterian, Episcopalian, Anglican, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, the average Christian today is like a man who's married to one woman but goes to work in a cat house every day. You know he ain't gonna be true. You know it. You know he ain't gonna be true, and you know somebody gonna open up his nose. Now that's how they used to talk down in North Carolina. What do you mean open up his nose? That means somebody. I mean he gonna have some sentimental feelings toward one of those 100 women in that cat house that he works with every day. That's how Christians are. Oh, yes, you say, ask him a Christian. You love, are you married? Yes, I'm married. Are you a Christian? Yeah, I'm a Christian. But what else can be said? So people don't love Jesus, but I do. I love him. And so as a result of that, you heard me, people say, you running down these other, don't be speaking, you ain't got nothing good to say about somebody, don't say nothing at all. Well, where you find that at? Where you find that? Who told you that? Well, you ain't got anybody running down these people, really run down these churches. A lot of people like these preachers. Here you go. There's a lot of people would like you, Pastor Man. If you would join with some of these preachers, you keep running down. You ought to speak well of them and stop running them down. So, okay, all right. First of all, anyway. So, people don't love Jesus. That's item number one. And then I want to go back to an item that we started more than 2 years ago now about individual growth. I'll tell you this about this foreclosure issue, and also about the civil rights case I filed against Mellon Bank in the state of New York. You know, Elder Ramos remembers this, and probably other people as well, that I said in 2 years I was going to take the bar and become a lawyer that is authenticated by the bar of the state of New York. And really, I'm practicing law. Right now, I'm practicing law at its highest level. In the federal court, I'm presently practicing law. And this case has caused me to grow. I actually think this case has opened up a large segment of perhaps some of the part of my brain cells that I wasn't used. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You see, as a preacher, I've read the Bible. I've read it from kiver to kiver. That's how they say it down in North Carolina. I read it from kiver to kiver. That means cover to cover. And I've read it several times. I've taught every book in the Bible. I mean, I've been doing this for 43 years, right? So I pretty much know the Bible. So there's very little that gets stimulated that causes new brain cell activity with respect to my profession, right? But now that I'm studying law and I am acting as a lawyer against and fighting another 50 lawyers, Jesus and I, it is stimulating new brain cell activity, which I think is a real good thing for me. Now, I have been exhausted by the process, but I think I'm growing. And the question I want to ask you, are you growing? I'd say this to you. You want to see a change in your life. Let's say you're 50 years old, right? And you're pretty much not settled into who you're going to be. You ain't going to be nobody different. And you might be even in the church, right? But I can guarantee you this. Now, this is going to, maybe sit down for this and but I'll tell you this. If you made the decision, especially if you're a man, but more importantly, if you're a woman and a woman of God, if you make a decision to say, I'm going to join the Outlaw ministry, I'm going to call James David Manning my pastor. I'm going to meet every one of the worship hours on the Sabbath and the prayer meetings. I'm going to send my tithes and offerings without fail. That's going to change you. I guarantee you, that's going to change you. You think that's going to grow you. You're going to become somebody you never thought you could. First of all, because you agreed that I teach, but you don't apply. You talking about growing. You've been living for 50 years. But you haven't seen the most excellent of your character. You make a decision. You go to Jesus, say, I'm going to join that outlaw ministry. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to call Pastor Manning my pastor. I'm going to get rid of all this other stuff I've been running around, watching on television, going in and out of this church and that one. I'm calling Pastor Manning my pastor. I'm joining that church. I'm sending my tithes and offerings. I'm going to Sabbath worship. That's going to change you. You're going to grow. No, you, my friend, are going to explode into a new person. Just because of those basic things. You're going to explode and become somebody that's extraordinary. So I encourage you, join the church, go online, go to outlaw.org, go to the place where it says membership, fill it out, and then make your commitment to the Sabbath every Saturday, worship, and send your tithes and offerings. You are going to become somebody brand new. You're going to begin to walk in the newness of life. You're going to grow. You're going to become somebody, and you're going to become somebody powerful, not somebody cheap, not somebody ignorant, not somebody blind and stumbling. You're going to become somebody. Because you decide to put your membership under my authority, and I am a man of authority, it's going to change you. All for the excellence, not just for the better, but for the excellence. And by the way, let me just add an addendum to my message on this past Saturday, because there are young men and young women and old men and old women who dumped me, rejected me, judged me. A lot of people dumped me during the Obama years, and those were some terrible years. People ran out to church like the place was on fire. And then a whole lot of over 700 people across America joined our church. Japheth people, 700. Over 700 Japheth people joined our church during the Obama years. Wow. The black people, the Hamite people were running out to church. This is absolute truth. So when Trump comes along, and I speak the truth about him, all 700 of them, there's still some that's right now that's online that stayed with me through that period. But probably as many as 500 of them just booked. and they're gone. And then there's some other people who are just, who left the ministry. They allowed the devil to get a hold of them, and they left the ministry, but now they realize that they're in a lot of pain. And I said this, that, you don't have to ever come back to the ministry. You don't, especially those who used to sit in the house. And I even gave an example of my grandson. I said, well, who's not doing so well right now. You don't have to come into the building for me to be your pastor. You don't have to come into the building for me to be your pastor. I'm on the air. I broadcast 5 hours every day, except for maybe Saturday. But I'm on 24 hours a day on all kinds of social media platforms. You don't have to come in. If you want to get your life together, listen to what I say, do it as I do. Saturday morning, be quiet. Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, like everybody else, you put on your clothes and sit in your room and listen to the broadcast. Listen to me teach from the pulpit of power on Saturday morning. You don't have to come in the building. And what I say, do. What I teach, believe. And act on. And you will become a powerful person. You don't ever have to walk back in the building again. And so I wanted to be able to say that because there's a lot of people out there that's in pain, and probably it'd be very difficult for them to walk back in the building because the way they walked away be very difficult. But you can reunite with the ministry. Just have yourself ready to make the commitment again. Pastor Manning's my pastor. He's on the air. I can hear him. I can see him. In fact, he's more accessible to me now than he was when I joined the church 20, 30 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So are you experiencing growth? But if you make the decision that you going to call me your pastor, you're going to actually submit to me as your pastor, you're going to submit to the Sabbath day, you're going to submit to the tithes and offering, you're going to grow. You're going to become somebody powerful. You won't even recognize yourself. You're going to grow. And life is going to become a place where you can then reach out and help others. You are going to grow. Right now, you're stagnant. You're stagnant sitting up in the Southern Baptist Church, got a big fat deacon sitting on the front row, and his stomach sticks out 3 feet from his arms. And they sitting there, and then they got the hymn books, and they got the choirs and the robes, and then you got the Southern Baptist preaching. Here he comes, that twang in his voice, twanging and twanging and twanging like a guitar the way to. You ever hear Southern Baptist preachers? Or Southern Baptist people in general, quite frankly. Then you're going out to Denny's after the worship service. You're out to Denny's. Now I think it's Golden Corral now. Yeah. I got y'all. I know y'all up and down Main Street, Golden Corral. Some of y'all highfalutin, go to Olive Gardens and, other places like that. But you're not growing. And you know it. You're not growing. And you know it. So again, I want to thank all y'all, the introduction today. I want to thank all of y'all for understanding how busy my life is. I'm up against as many as 50 lawyers, me and Jesus, just me and Jesus and the legal team. And just getting into the federal court, the work I have to do is day and night, night and day, all day, every day. It never stops. And so I'm not going to be here, live, but I need y'all to keep coming every day. And the other thing is that in many of the broadcasts, some of y'all don't even know I'm rebroadcasting stuff because you weren't online, let's say 2 years ago. And many of the broadcasts that we're doing, especially now the 49 Sabbaths that we're doing now, you didn't catch all of them. And when you listen to them the first time around, you didn't catch all of the information that was being dispensed. You really, 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 this is a great time to reunite yourself with the Word of God, the Sabbath day. And take some time to pray for Pastor Man. Well, what's he doing today? Is he on vacation? No, he ain't gone on vacation. And I may decide to go someplace. I may decide to go away just, for the, just because I think I'll need to do it. I just need to get out of the house. I live in the building. I live above the church. I live in the church is on, anyway, this building we live in is a multi-purpose building, right? One of them New York style things. This building was not designed as a church. It was designed as a men's club for very rich white men, like back at the turn of a century ago, like J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, Carnegie. All those guys used to be in this house. That's right. And this used to be their uptown men's club. It was for Japheth men only. No Jews could join back in those years. All these rich, powerful, John D. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, and all of them used to be in this building. So, but in the building, there's a number of floors that we've converted into apartments, and I live in the building. I live above a church. Anybody ever heard the song by Arlo Guthrie called Alice's Restaurant? Bob Jackson, you ever heard that song? Alice's Restaurant? If you haven't heard it, you ought to listen to it. It's 28 minutes where Arlo Guthrie, who is the son of Woody Guthrie too, but if you know Woody Guthrie, this land is our land, said I looked at the sign and it said no trespassing, but on the other side it didn't say nothing. So I just kept going. But no, Alice's Restaurant, so he said, you can get, in the song, Arlo Guthrie goes, you can get anything that you want at Alice's Restaurant, except Alice. That she lived above a church, Alice did. She threw her garbage down into the church. And one day they came over and took it out, and then they got arrested for littering. I said, Pastor Man, what are you talking about today? I don't know if I want you to come back. You're way off the course. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break. And when I get back, I got some things to say to you about growing pains. If you're not growing, then growing pains. Hang tight, everybody. Don't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, but I am going to take a break.
I'm calling from Clarksville, West Virginia, and I'm an African-American woman. And I saw the YouTube video, and I'm of God. Where two more guys shall be done. I'm claiming the name of Jesus. Said God will not let your church be taken. Obama was never of God, and he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the things that are going on in our government now is of his doing and Biden's, and it's not going to last because we are the call. We are the chosen. I stand in the gap with you, and you take it all the way to the state Supreme Court and U.S. Supreme Court. If you have, God's going to restore, and he's not going to let this church fall. So I thank you and Pastor Mandy for presenting this on YouTube, because me living in West Virginia never would have known this was going on. And as a Christian, a child of living God, I never would have been able to pray for you. But now I know what to pray for. And now you're in my prayers. You guys, God bless you. You're going to keep this church. God's not going to let it fall. Good night. Bye.
Over the years, we have served more than 1 million meals to hungry bellies and hungry people here in the Harlem community. And I wanted you to be able to see that. I want you to see our involvement with youth, our summer youth programs, our courtyard being used as a place where children can be safe, guarded, and protected as they have their miniature swimming pools, and a safe place for children to eat that is guarded, that is protected by our own sense of security, and the wholesome and fresh meals that we serve. We wanted you to be able to see the mission of this church. And we've been doing this for years. Just recently, one of our members, more than a 30-year member of this church, but it hasn't, not one that, that you would probably find as members of some other churches with their nose stuck up in the air. But her father is now close to death or very sick in the state of South Carolina. And I said, because she doesn't have money, I said, we will buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus or train ticket for you to travel to South Carolina to be with your father in this time of pandemic. There's very little funding around. There's sickness everywhere. And the thing that just blew me away was she said, as she was talking to Elizabeth, she said, but how are you going to do that? To pay for me a round trip ticket to travel and give me expense money? And because Pastor Manning has to feed the children, he has to educate the children, he has to buy school supplies for them, he has to pick them up in the mornings and take them back, and then he's got the ministry he has to take care of, all the bills of running the church, of keeping a major house like our house operational, keep the lights on, how are you going to be able to do that? And she was almost reluctant to take the money because she felt that it would be better served by feeding the children. We gave it to her anyway. But we want you to know that we do a work in this community. There have been a lot of lies told on us. And it's almost unimaginable why some of the people that have lied on us. But I can tell you behind all of it is the LGBTQ community. They don't want us to be successful, but we are, and we're going to continue to be successful in serving the meals that we're serving and serving the people that we are. And the LGBTQ community will not take us down. They are not going to take our church. Yet they've defamed us. They've written ugly newspaper articles about us. They've marched against us. They've done a whole lot of ugly things. But you see what we have done, and that's not even the half of our service to children and to the needy in terms of our homeless shelters and the things that we've done over the years. And we will continue. And probably the lies and the smears and the ugly newspaper articles and the wicked spirits and the so-called I ain't for the black man, that is not going to go away. I don't expect it to go away. I don't. But I do tell you this, that we will succeed against all of that, for God is with us. And y'all know I'm up here in New York with all these liberal people. Come on now, down in Oklahoma. Come on, Oklahoma. Come on, Tennessee. Come on, Texas. Come on, Alabama. Come on, Arkansas. Come on, Georgia. Come on, South Carolina. Come on, Florida. Come on, North Carolina. Come on, Ohio. Come on, Indiana. Come on now. I'm up here in New York all by myself, and you know it. All these liberals up here, and you know it. Up here all alone. And not just that, I'm in the most black people racism is all I do. Listen, if you get rid of black people racism, all other racism will fall off the planet. And here I am, up here in Harlem, all by and y'all don't want to help me. You don't want to help me, and I'm here, waiting to hear the Lord say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." I'm not a favorite of the Democrat Party. I ain't a favorite of the Republican Party. By the way, you know, the Republicans tried to do to me what the liberal Democrats did to Bishop Kaufman. You know, they wined and dined him, you know, gave him a lot of money and drove him around and had him speaking all over the place. The Republican Party almost did that to me as well. But when Donald Trump came along, I said, enough is enough is enough. I ain't going down that road with y'all. Gerald Kaufman, Bishop Kaufman went down that road and God killed him. But I'm up here all by myself. I'm up here liberal, and y'all sit there in Oklahoma and out there in New Mexico and there in Louisiana, and you listen to me every day. I'm all by you. You know it. I ain't got no friends up here, and you know it. And all the black people don't like me either. They don't. And let's not talk about the LGBTQ. I don't even have to talk about what they think about me. And you sit there every day, it won't help me. All right, I want to give a shout out to Deacon Jesse Munoz out in San Bernardino. I think Deacon Munoz, everybody, if y'all listening, everybody, heads up. I think Deacon Munoz thought I forgot about him. I think he thought I said, Pastor Manning, I forgot about maybe Pastor Manning disenfranchised me as a member. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to you, Deacon. But how are things out there in San Bernardino? Are you under that heat wave as well? Because it's hot out there out west. I tell you what I do plan, though. So, Deacon, if you know, I do plan to do, if I do go on a vacation, I'm going to go to Seattle, Washington, where Deacon Amen Springfield. You know, I'm not going up there to bother him. I don't even have to see him. You know, I'm not going there to bother him. But I do want to go to Seattle. It's one of the places in America that I have not been yet. So if I do go, I'm definitely going to go out to Seattle. But shout out to Deacon Amen Springfield and also to Jesse Munoz. All right. So I asked if you were growing, and I used the age of 50. If you're 50, you're going to change. You're going to grow. You're going to use new brain cell activity. You know, hooking up with me, and I don't mean to be flippant with my language here, but joining this ministry is going to change you, all for the better. It's going to refine you. And then worshiping on the Sabbath is going to bless you. But I use the criterion age of 50. Let me say if you get 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, you can do it, and you're going to find a new life. Being a part of the Outlaw Ministry is a brand new life for you. That's what it will be. And you've probably been in a humdrum situation for years, but this will be a brand new life for you. So go to outlaw.org, find the membership application, fill it out, and then, just get on the track of doing what you need to do. That's going to grow you. Now, before I went on, I was away for a few days, I was also mentioning to you about growing pains. That is to say, your family is not growing with you, your job, your friends, they're not growing with you. And in fact, you feel a bit intimidated because they're just in a different world than you're in right now. That's going to happen. And I need to warn you that you join this ministry and you start growing, you're going to outgrow the people around you. You're not going to shrink down. You're going to outgrow them, and where you were perhaps comfortable with them and some of their antics and things that they do, their religiosity and their churchianity, you're pretty comfortable with that, but you won't be comfortable with it anymore if you join this ministry. And that's a good thing. But it will create, I'll have to tell you, and I'm going to be upfront with you, I'm Pastor Manning, it's going to create for you what we refer to as growing pains. If they don't come along with you, it's going to create growing pains. And it'll be a spiritual pain because you'll see them and see how lost they are, even though they're sitting up in some church somewhere. But they're in the world. It's like the man I said earlier today. I said the example of the Christian today is like a man who's married to a woman, but yet he goes to work every day in a cat house, in a house of prostitution. Got 100 prostitutes in that house every day, very active. And he's in there with all them prostitutes, and then he goes back home to his wife. That he going to mess up. He going to do it. He going to be looking in places and looking at stuff he ain't got. That's how Christians are today. You ask them a Christian, yeah, I'm married, yeah, I'm a Christian. But you work in a cat house. And the world today is a cat house everywhere you look. I don't know what to call social media. I mean, it's worse than a cat house. It's worse than a house of prostitution. But you tolerate that because that's what Christians do. They tolerate it. The Lord knows my heart, Lord, and all that, and you're just good and you just tolerate it. But you join this ministry, you're going to change. You join this ministry, you're going to grow. You join this ministry, you're going to prosper. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Esther Bennett's mother. I think her caretaker, Mother Dunlop's caretaker, right, has started associating herself with our ministry. And I want to just say, welcome to the ministry. God bless you. You're here in the building. The Lord ever bless you. Don't let the devils trying to fight you. Don't let him discourage you. Just keep hanging in here, and the Lord will bless you. And thank you for the service that you give to Mother Dunlop. We all love Mother Dunlop here at this church. And what is her name? Somebody got to get her name to me so I can call her proper name. Or maybe next time I get to broadcast, I can call her name properly, as she's become a part of this ministry. But you will experience growing pains. That's going to happen. I'm not going to pull your coat. I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes, rather. You join this ministry, people are going to look at you differently. Everybody that goes to the cat house and works in the cat house, the world cat house, and they keep doing their thing, talking about what the Lord loves me, and I know he loves, and on and on and on and on. No, you're not going to tolerate that anymore. But the other item is, and I'm going to have to go in a few moments, so I got to say this real quick. So listen to this on warp speed. Have you been assigned by Almighty God to this ministry? And have you been assigned to any ministry? The place where you're working at now, have you been assigned to that profession? And you need to know that, because if you haven't been, you could be 50, 60 years old, you're doing something that you're working, and maybe you're a fisherman up there in Maine fishing for, I don't know what you're fishing for. But that's not your assignment. But I want to circle back to, have you been assigned to this ministry? And you've not confessed that assignment as of yet. But let's not just focus on that. I have been assigned to set in order the things that are found wanting, the thing that Paul told his son Titus when he sent him out to Crete. And Titus, the young preacher, didn't want to be out there in Crete, want nothing out there in Crete. You know, it wasn't like a cosmopolitan city of Corinth or Ephesus, one of those big cities like Rome. He sent him out there to that old barren place called Crete. And Paul told Timothy, I said, I sent you to Crete to set in order the things that are found wanting. The Lord sent me here to Harlem. And that's where I'm assigned. I have been assigned here. Where have you been assigned? And have you been assigned to this ministry as well? Have you been assigned to Harlem? Now, you may not live here, but you very potentially could be assigned to this church here in Harlem, even though you don't physically live here. And then beyond that, you want to find out where you've been assigned by the Lord. What did the Lord create you to do? What's your purpose? Well, I don't even like to use purpose. I think that word has been overcooked and overbooked and overrated. But what's your assignment? Are you working on your assignment? Are you at the workstation that Almighty God had in his mind, not in the mind of the devil? And that's another thing. You know, the devil may have an assignment for you too. And are you doing that? The devil may have an assignment. You say, well, Pastor Manning, you said the average Christian today is like a man who's married to a woman, but he goes to work in a cat house where there's 100 prostitutes every day. He needs to quit that job and find another job, ditch digging, sweeping streets, but get out that cat house. And I'm going to tell you something. Don't y'all tell nobody, outside of our fellowship here, but a lot of these churches are nothing but cat houses. Don't you go out there and start telling people like that, because people ain't going to take that from you. They ain't going to take it. You're talking about our church is a cat house. And somebody will say, well, Pastor, man, that's why we don't like you. Why? Because I tell the truth? Oh, I see who you are. I done figured you out already. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, you ain't got to be talking about people like that. You don't know everything. You're supposed to judge. You ever hear him say that? Judge ye not, judge ye not. You ever hear him? Well, if I can't judge, I ain't got nothing left to preach. And then that thing, I can't be reading stuff that Jesus said either, or the stuff that Moses said. I can't be reading that because they judged. You misinterpreted. He simply said that you have to understand something, that when you judge something, you're going to be likewise judged. For the same judgment that you judge will be judged to you. With the same measure that you measure will be measured back to you again. Jesus didn't say don't judge. How you going to get through the world? You can't get across the street. You can't drive your car down the block without making a judgment. Oh, judge, you not. Judge. He's simply saying, you're going to judge and other people are going to judge you. Don't get bent out of shape. Make sure your judgment is righteous judgment. That's all. Case closed. Bible's still open, though. All right, so have you been assigned and you need to discover what, I had to I got saved in the Brooklyn House of Detention 47 years ago. It was at night, right? But I had to go to prison to find out what my assignment is. Ain't that nothing? Joseph had to go to prison to get his assignment. That's true. I actually had to end up in prison before I knew what I was assigned to do. I was running around doing a whole lot of things. Most of them evil and demonic is all outdoors. But in prison, I found out what my assignment. I've been with it ever since. 47 years, I have not changed I have not left to any other assignment. I've been sticking with this one assignment that Almighty God gave to me. And, I said to the congregation on Saturday, I said, for the next 40 days, you need to ask God why. For the next 47, you need to ask God questions. God does not get bent out of shape by you asking them questions. Now, don't ask them questions that you already know the answer to. And whatever you do, don't lie to God. Don't be lying to God. Because a lot of people do that, especially these Southern Baptist Christians. Man, why are you on the Southern Baptist? Because a lot of them listen to me. That's why. Anyway, don't be lying to God, right? And I said for the next 40 days, that was 3 days ago. By the way, tomorrow's the 4th of July, right? What y'all gonna do? Hamburgers, hot dogs, grill some steaks. What y'all gonna do? Get drunk? You know, 4th of July is like, it's like a hot family reunion, a hot Thanksgiving, right? The food is a little different. You don't have turkey on. I went to a man's house on Thanksgiving. He was serving fish. It's doggone. Fish? Not turkey. Fish? Lord have mercy. Some strange things, the strange world of Mr. Mum. I don't know if y'all know about that either. But no, the Thanksgiving, the 4th of July celebration, cookout out, it's like an outdoor Thanksgiving, right? It's going to be hot. I don't know if y'all going to be outdoors because it's hot. It's 90 degrees up in here in the Big Apple. But I told people that they need to ask the Lord questions so they can find some answers. For the next 40 days, every day, ask God why. And it could be different why. It don't have to be the same why every day. You know, you don't get heard something about a vain repetition, but you may have 40 things that you want to know about. I want to know why is it that Satan got up in God's face while they were up in hell. I want to know why. Why did Lucifer, his name was Lucifer then, why did Lucifer get up in God's face with an attitude? And God had to put him out. Put him out, for sure. Everybody knows he did. Now he's down here fooling around with you. But he got up and say, and then the other thing he does, he tries to teach you to get up in somebody's face as well. So I asked the Lord that, and he gave me the answer. So I wanted to be able to do that. Finally, before I go, I got 2 minutes left, and let me just use the 2 minutes here. Can Jesus use your mistakes? Can Jesus, if what you have done, and it's bad, it is so bad what you've done, but is it bad enough that God can use it? You know, Peter lied, and, you know, when he was out there when Jesus was being questioned by that crowd in that room that night, Peter lied. He lied. And then the other thing, Jesus told Peter, you got a devil in you. But God can use our mistakes. Paul the apostle actually threw Christians in jail, tortured them. He may have killed some Christians, we don't know. But what the apostle Paul did to Christians is unthinkable. But God can use, God said, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use your mistakes. And I want to ask you before I leave the air today, can God use your mistakes? Is it bad enough? You don't want to hear nobody talk about their mistakes or talk about me. I'm the king of mistakes guy. I'm the king. But can God use my mistakes? And can God use yours? And your assignment, as I taught some time ago, is generally just the opposite of what you were doing. For instance, the Apostle Paul was in the business of throwing Christians into jail and torturing them. His assignment was to set them free and bless them. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. And generally, it doesn't have to work that way in every situation, but usually your assignment, you know, if you're out there right now raising hell, now hell is a word, hey, they go guess another thing about you, bad man. It always know, they're always cussing. You know, I know hell is in the Bible, but you take it out of context. But if you're out there raising hell right now, you need to know your assignment is to start raising heaven. Very simple, very simple. Just turn in the opposite direction. And by the way, for Hamite people, they call themselves black and African Americans. That's what they call themselves all the time, but they're not. They're Hamites. They need to turn around from all that civil rights stuff, all that marching, all that, you know, trying to get somebody as the black mayor, all that stuff. By the way, did you hear about that shooting down there in Baltimore where they got all them black people down there running the city? This past weekend, 2 people killed, 28 people shot. Always running around trying to get a black politician. And so they need to just turn around and do just the opposite. Always blaming America and running and talking about America and slavery. They need to just stop it and turn around. Listen, I have got to go. Thank you all so very much. Again, I'm not going to be live every day. I'm up against as many, me and Jesus, or Jesus and I, we're up against 50 lawyers or more and a system that hates my living guts. But I'm going to ask you to pray for me. I really need your prayer. I need your financial help. You know I do. But now I really need your prayers because I've been very, very busy. Praise the Lord. All right, got to go.
Pastor Manning, you are the one to preach righteous and true. You're a sharecropper, son, Pastor Manning. The things you've been through, the Obama year, tribulation Trump too. Pastor Manning, you get knocked down, you get back up, you preach on holy ground. Pastor Manning, you're the one. You preach righteous and truth. You're a sharecropper, son.
You're the center of my joy, and all that's good and perfect comes from you. You're the heart of my contentment, hope for all I do. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. You're the center of my joy, and all that's good and perfect comes from you. You're the heart of my contentment, hope for all I do. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. When I've lost my direction, you're the compass for my way. You're the fire and light when nights are long and cold. In sadness, you are the laughter that shatters all my fears. When You're the center of my joy. And all that's good and perfect comes from you. And you're the heart of my contentment. Oh, for all I do. Oh, Jesus, you are the center of my joy. 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 Jesus, you're my music. And you're my song. The center all the day long of my joy. Jesus, you are yes, you are the center of my joy. Jesus, the center of my joy.
Now you're better than Whitney Houston. No doubt about that.
It'll make a junkie say Jesus is Lord. I got a word in my mouth. I got a word in my mouth.
Makes my world go round. Set my feet on holy ground. Jesus makes my world go round. Set my feet on holy ground.
I'm the Lord's servant. I'm asking now is to give truth a chance. All I've ever told anybody is the truth. Now, just because you didn't understand it doesn't mean it's not true. And I'm asking people to give truth a chance.
All around, you hear the lies being told from the top. Every time you turn around, it just don't seem to stop. When you're ready to move far beyond that same old dance, all you gotta do is listen, yeah, and give truth a chance.
Give truth a chance.
Everybody,
Give truth a chance.
come on and sing it.
Give truth a chance. Give truth
Give Jesus a chance.
I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out, righteousness.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Manning Report. I am Manning, the quintessential American, and we've been broadcasting. Well, I've been away for a while, as y'all very well can see. We got beautiful skies here in the Big Apple today. What you got down there in South Carolina, Sister King? Look at those skies. That's nice. Tomorrow's the 4th of July. Dating this, I shouldn't be doing that because I'm going to rebroadcast this for the next 2 years. Anyway, so I wanted to say thank you to all of you who have been you have given me the opportunity to take a respite, perhaps. Well, actually, it's not taking a respite, but I've not been broadcasting live the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to be away quite a bit over the next month or so as I work on this matter of the lawsuit that we brought against the Mellon Bank in the city of New York. And by the way, Bob Jackson, I got your tune. It's a great tune. It's a great hymn. You did a great job on it. But I assigned the media staff to put some visuals to it, like I've done with all your videos, by the way, Bob. And they've not been able to put any videos to it. I don't know what they've been doing. But once I get the video, I'm going to fire you up. I haven't forgotten about you, Bob Jackson. So I haven't forgotten about your song either. So it's coming. Just got to be patient with me. And the same thing with Deacon Munoz out there in San Bernardino. Deacon, I haven't forgotten about you. I haven't. So just know that that's happening. But I wanted to say that I'm live today. I'm alive today. But I'm going to be doing a lot of reruns over the summer, mainly because I want you to understand something. A heads up. Please listen to this. I have brought a lawsuit against the Mellon Bank, a $1 trillion institution, and the city of New York. Now, you need to know that this bank has got hundreds of lawyers. And they have probably assigned at least, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 40 lawyers just to work on the fact that I brought a suit against them, because it's a very meaningful suit, and it could do a lot of harm to the bank. So they're not taking any chance. They have probably put, I could have been as many as 40 lawyers. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily have to be exaggerating. But not just the Mellon Bank, then I've sued the city of New York as well, and they got a whole law department as well. So I want you to understand something about why I'm not going to be as available over the next few weeks or months as I have been in past, is because that many lawyers, let's say they got 30 lawyers, 40 lawyers, let's say on both sides of the city of New York. So I could be up against as many as 50 lawyers that are working on this case, doing research, studying case history, going through filing motions. I could be up against as many as 50 lawyers, just me and Jesus. And I'm not a lawyer. By the way, they're going to look pretty stupid when they get beat by a preacher in Harlem who's not a lawyer, because I'm going to whoop them good. No, I'm going to whoop them, and I'm going to whoop them good. But I want you to know, so having that kind, and then the other thing, dealing with the federal court, you just don't walk in. You have to do filings. You have to meet requirements. There are rules that you got to follow to be able to enter into the court and things you got to do. So I have to do all that as well. Now, I do have a legal team. I have some just regular members of the Outlaw World Missionary Church. They're just regular members. One is actually an attorney. I think anyway, but it's I'm the one that's doing the work. They'll tell you about that as well. But I do want to say that you cannot begin to imagine how desperately I need you to pray for me now. I do. Because of the amount of work and energy and time and research and reading. I'm up some nights, all nights, just reading about case law, reading about this and that and the other, because I didn't go to law school, right? So, and then during the day, I try to come and do the broadcast like I'm doing today. I was up all night last night. And then I'm still working on the draft that we're putting together. Right as you speak, I'm back and forth. Once I go to a break, I'm back and forth with the communications director on continuing to work on the draft. Right, so I'm working on two things right now. I'm working on the draft to go to the federal court, And I'm doing the Manning Report, the Trust in the Lord Hour. I'm doing all that right now. So I really need you to pray for me. I'm extremely busy. I'm extremely, extremely, extremely busy, and I do need your prayers. We're going to win with Jesus, and if it's just me and Jesus, then that's enough. But this is no joke. This is a lot of work that God has called us to do. And but I wanted to be able to show up today, and I also want to tell you that, 47 years ago, the Lord Jesus Christ walked into my jail cell over there in the Brooklyn House of Detention at 215 Atlantic Avenue, up on the 7th floor, and there he touched me and filled me with the Holy Ghost and spent 3 days pouring into me the sermons I've been preaching to you over the last 47 years. That is right. That's what happened to me. And I'm thankful and grateful to Almighty God for that. And I don't usually talk about birthdays very much, but I wanted to say that July 3rd, during the America's bicentennial, and Elder Ramos, he remembers that distinctively. He's got a pretty good memory, Elder Noah Ramos. And I have not moved from that. It took me, by the way, I was teaching Saturday that I spent 3 more years in jail. And I think one of the greatest testimonies, I don't know, Mr. Engineer, do we have that testimony about how Pastor Richard Stauffer came here to the church? He's my jailer, he's my ward, and he came, and he got saved as a result. We'll try to get it broadcast in today. But I do want to ask you to pray for me. And even though we're running the 49 Sabbaths, which I think is really one of the crown jewels of the teachings that we have done over the years. So it's good teaching. We got more good teaching coming. And some of you will realize it's a rerun, but don't run away. Stay with me. Keep coming to the broadcast. When I can get back, I may not be back again this entire week. But stay with me and pray for me. And no, I'm not running away. I didn't get lazy. Oh, Pastor Man, no, got lazy. Here we at now. Hey, I'm talking about ride. Nobody hear the roaring line. No, I ride. Where? Where is that? He hiding him. He gonna be, but he and a little done gone on vacation somewhere. They'll sneak around there on vacation. No, man, that ain't like that at all. I'm right. Anyway, so now, so the Supreme Court handed down some decisions on this past Friday. They were dropping bombs like Hiroshima and Nagasaki this past Friday. Ms. Engineer, do we have any clips of the Supreme Court decisions? I know that they passed a decision on a hypothetical case about a woman who said, and this case went to the, I think, court in Colorado. I think it went to that court 7 years ago, and it worked its way all the way up to the Supreme Court, where she raised the question about if I open up a website, I'm doing website business, I want to know if if I refuse, and which she said she would do, I would refuse to create a website for same-sex couples. And by the grace of God, now the court ruled in her favor that she does not have to service LGBTQ or same-sex couple. Praise God for that. Now I need to tamper that, but I don't like what's going on with Clarence Thomas right now. I'm not sure I ever liked what was going on with Clarence Thomas ever. He definitely ain't no Thurgood Marshall. I can tell you that right now. I don't know if ever since what happened to Anita Hill, y'all remember her? And Clarence Thomas, I don't think that woman was lying on Clarence Thomas. I don't think that was. Oh, why would she lie? So so he's never been a favorite of mine in the first place. Then he'd run around there, this billionaire, run around down on that big old 100-foot yacht, and flying around on this. And then this other guy, the other judge, Alito, flew out to Alaska for a fishing trip on a private jet that would have cost, if he'd taken that private jet on his own, would have cost him $100,000 to fly out to, and he said, well, the seat would have been empty. These guys are taking down money. So I'm not so happy with the fact, and the Supreme Court has lost a lot of its prestige. I don't think people believe in it anymore. It lost a lot of its prestige. But you know, Obama put 3 people on the court as well. They put 2 or 3. Yeah, put 2. And they are, you know, they're as liberal as the days are long. And so I want to tamper up, but I'm glad the Supreme Court ruled that if your spiritual and biblical beliefs are against same-sex marriage, and you don't have to employ them, you don't have to serve them, you don't have to cater to them, you don't have to put up with them. And I'm glad that they did that. I thank God finally that somebody stood up and said something. I mean, you know, and I think the Supreme Court, some commentators said that it isn't just that, but the Supreme Court now has opened the door, because let's say, for instance, that a Muslim comes to me and says to me he wants me to create something for Muslim and to praise Allah and all that kind of praise, the Quran and praise jihad. As a Christian, I ain't gonna do that, and I shouldn't be forced to do it. I should not be forced against my Christian beliefs to do something for Allah. I shouldn't. And the same thing is true. I believe that same-sex marriage is wrong. The Bible said it's wrong. Humanity says it's wrong. I shouldn't be forced to serve, same-sex people. Or I shouldn't be forced to, praise Allah. I thought it was one of the best decisions I've seen come down from the court in quite some time. Now, I'll talk a little bit later on about the Dobbs decision that came down last year about this time. But having said that, I'm not so happy with what's going on with Samuel Alito and that Clarence Thomas boy. But, Mr. Engineer, you have a clip. Who? Oh, about affirmative action. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead now. Let me take a break, all right? Let me take a break. And listen, I want you, I'm gonna do the affirmative action, and then Ketanji Brown Jackson, a black woman on the court, right, is now having a cat fight with Clarence Thomas. This is gonna get good. I'm gonna sit there and watch this on popcorn. Hope they put this on Netflix. But listen, the media people put together a song that Pastor Bartolotta wrote sometime. Pastor Bartolotta wrote the song, played, he performed it, and I think played some of the percussion instruments. I miss Bartolotta. He's been gone now for a goodly number of years, but I'll put his picture up in the gallery. But watch this video of Bartolotta and the $70 million. Am I down before? And Mellon Bank, if you're watching, I'm coming for y'all, boys. I'm coming for you.
It'll make a junkie say Jesus is Lord. I got a word in my mouth. I got a word in my mouth. That's what God said. That's what God said. That's what God said. outlaw. That's what God said. That's what God said. That's what God said.
Makes my world go round. Set my feet on holy ground. Jesus makes my world go round. Set my feet on holy ground. Insight coming out of bed for life. Insight coming out of Bethlehem. Insight coming out of Bethlehem. Jesus. Make my world go round. Set my feet on holy ground. I say outlaw's coming.
That's what God said. That's what God said. That's what God.
All right, so there you have it. Outlaw. That's what God said. That's what God said. So one of the other decisions that was handed down by the court that I thought was a good ruling as well was they struck down affirmative action. I've always been against that. You know, listen, there are problems in our nation racially, but the solution that people of power and media and politicians are using or seeking a resolution through the wrong solutions. Did I use solutions before? So I thought that affirmative action said, in essence, amid some other things, it said that the minority students did not have to qualify at the level that developed world students or people, or white people in general against black people, that if Harvard requires an A for entrance, that because you were black or a minority, they should consider your application with a C+. And they would call that affirmative and diversive action. If Dr. Jones was here, Elder LaFleur, if Dr. Jones was here, he would argue this, because I was against affirmative action, and because I felt it said that black people feel less qualified and they're willing to accept a stigma that they're less qualified, they're not as smart as white folks, so therefore give them a break. I'm against that because I don't think that black people are less qualified. They haven't done anything now. It's true, but I don't think it's not that they can't. They're just barking up the wrong tree in terms of trying to reach equality. But having said that, Jones would say this. He said, well, Harvard and Yale and Princeton, all these Ivy League schools, they have what is known as legacy and donor privileges. That is to say that if your father went to Harvard, you get moved to the top of the line if you make an application, where somebody else who may have an A, they have the same GPA, they may have the same GPA as, and they could be black or African American or Hamites, who they are. And the Japheth boy has an A, and the GPA is the same. But if the Japheth boy father went to Harvard, he gets moved to the top of the line. So Jones would argue that legacy is worse than the affirmative action. And to some degree, I don't know if it would be worse, but there's an argument there. And then the other thing is that donor. Harvard has a standard. They have affirmative action, they have legacy, and they have donor class. That is to say, let's say from some billionaire donates $200 or $300 million to Harvard. Like the school out there got $500 million. What was it? Some school out in New Jersey, Rutgers University, got $500 million last month from somebody that went to school there at Rutgers, and they're doing well now. So let's somebody donates $500 million to Harvard. Their child, even their cousins, three times removed, go to the top of the line, even though you got the same GPA. So Jones would argue that they should cut back on those as well. But I think that too much emphasis is placed on going to Harvard when you could go to Howard, and too much emphasis is placed on. And the other thing, when you go to these prestigious institutions, they turn you into a pinch-nosed Negro. You go in there, you got some sense. You come out there, you're talking LGBT, gay. You're ready to cut off your junk, and you're talking with a pinch nose, and you define the Bible and laughing at God. Well, don't even go to Harvard or Yale, because that's what they do to you when you go there. No, that's what they do. Not only do you, and then you got to hang around a whole lot of people that don't believe in God and believe in cutting off their junk or manipulating themselves. So I would think, and I said to you, I got an applause from our congregation this past Sabbath. I said, just come to our hotline. We'll get you a better education than Harvard. By the way, so let's look at the clip. Let's see what the news people have to say. I don't put a lot of confidence in them, but let's look at this clip for just a second.
Breaking news, 2 major rulings from the Supreme Court. The court siding with a designer who doesn't want to make wedding websites for gay couples. The justices have also ruled against President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. ABC's M. Nguyen is in Washington.
In a major Supreme Court decision impacting the LGBTQ+ community, justices ruled 6-3 in favor of an evangelical Christian web designer from Colorado who refused to work on same-sex weddings. The 6 conservatives on the court held the First Amendment right to free speech bars the state from forcing the plaintiff, Lori Smith, from creating designs with messages to which she disagrees. Colorado's anti-discrimination law prohibits discriminating against LGBTQ+ people and requires that any business that's open to the public must serve all equally. Smith claimed obeying that law would force her to endorse gay marriage and violate her First Amendment right.
A website is my canvas, and I cherish the freedom to express unique and custom messages that celebrate causes that I'm passionate about.
Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote that Colorado would seek to force Smith to defy her conscience about a matter of major significance. The dissent firing back with Justice Sonia Sotomayor writing, there has been a backlash to the movement for liberty and equality. New forms of inclusion have been met with reactionary exclusion. This is heartbreaking. And the Supreme Court also dealt a major defeat to the Biden administration, ruling against the president's student loan forgiveness program, which would have wiped out up to $20,000 in debt for millions of borrowers. The White House had approved the plan under the HEROES Act, but Republican states pushed back, accusing the administration of executive overreach. The court agreed with the states.
And that landmark decision striking down affirmative action as we know it is already having a major impact as well. That's right. Schools across the country ahead of the fall college application season are scrambling now to adjust their policies to comply with the decision. I've spoken with a number of university presidents on this. We'll likely see no more check boxes for race on those application forms, or at least no more plus points for race when it comes to the decision making. And some schools are looking at other ways to level the playing field, possibly even ending early decision programs or things like legacy admission.
Now, I've already spoken about the LGBTQ and a woman not being forced by the state to perform something that would be against her conscience, freedom of speech. I've had my say about that, and I've had my say about affirmative action as well. I think that it's important that these Supreme Court rulings, but I do want to say that the student loan situation, I'm a little ambivalent about that. That is to say, I'm a sort of not necessarily pro or con on that decision by the Supreme Court. But what is happening is that student loan, and you can run up a $200,000 debt trying to get out of graduate school. And to pay it off, if you let's say you go to school, you become a lawyer, right? You run up a $250,000 debt trying to get that law degree, and then you get a job making $26,000 of your first year. Now, years later, you're going to be making a whole lot more, but those first years are going to be struggling to pay back that student loan. So I'm a little concerned. But I think what I would prefer that the courts would do is that they would make regulations that colleges, I think Harvard has some $700 billion in escrow. Listen, Lee Bollinger, who's the president of Columbia University, just 7 blocks from where I sit right now, Lee Bollinger earns upward of a salary of nearly $400,000 a year. I mean, president of Columbia University. And then all the perks that he gets as a president, right? Housing, insurance, retirement, food services, auto services, sex services. I mean, a college president making $400,000 a year, what's he teaching? What I believe that the Congress should take a look at is making these colleges scale back their tuition, scale back their requirements for tuition. They need to bring it back down to a sensible rate where reasonable people can afford it. It doesn't make any sense. We got one of our young students going to college. His name is Gabe or Izzy or something. I don't know what his name is. They call himself all kinds of names. I mean, he's a good young man. He's a great young man. And I think it's costing like $88,000 a year, something like that, to go to boy's 19 years old, 18 years old. Maybe, what is he, 18? Yeah. So now what's his parents going to do? How they going? He did get a full scholarship. He got a full ride. He got a full scholarship. And then we got Banana Anna. She's also going to the same school. And by the way, I owe Banana Anna $1,800 because I think, first of all, you got to pay the tuition, so you got to get a loan. Elder Floor had to sign a loan. Sister Sabbath Floor had to give an ounce of blood. I mean, it's what these colleges want from you. Then they said to you can do a pre-class, but it costs you $1,800. That's beyond the tuition. So I said I was going to give it to Anna, and I didn't do it because I ran out of money. I didn't stiff her. I ran out of money. I've been telling y'all all along that we ain't got no money no more up here. We done spend everything on lawyers, on food services, on taking care of bills and taking care of people. We done gone down to the, But let Anna know, I know she took that class with, so I got to try to find the money. I just remembered that as well. But no, I think that the Congress ought to do something about these colleges charging all that money. They don't need all that money. And these teachers, everybody ought to get a decent salary. But $400,000 for Lee Bollinger is insane. It's absolutely insane. So that's where the Supreme Court ought to go. But a lot of people are going to have to, if you had your college loan, you were able to get as much as $10,000 forgiven, and then, now they got a program where they will not put you in default. I don't know if I'm going to pray for them, but I think something ought to be done. At any rate, everybody, I'm going to take a break. You're listening to the Manning Report. I've been telling you that I have been extraordinarily busy. You have to understand that the Bank of Mellon has got, they got lawyers all over the place. They got lawyers up the wazoo. And they've assigned lawyers to this case, not just one. So it's just me and Jesus against ever how many lawyers that the Bank of Mellon, Robin Vince, has assigned to work on this case. Then I'm taking on the city of New York at the same time. And the city of New York Law Department, they've got lawyers. I don't know how many lawyers they've assigned. There's one lawyer that's assigned as a lead lawyer, but they got other lawyers doing research, doing clerk work, and I'm here with just Jesus. Now, I do have a legal team here at the church. I do, and they've been very helpful. But I want to try to express to you that I need your prayers because I'm extraordinarily busy, and I'm not going to be able to be live every day. I was up all night last night, and I just thought that I didn't have the energy to come to the desk today, and I didn't think I could make it to this point because I've just been, and not that I'm exhausted in terms of frustration or something. I'm just tired, But I just said, no, I'm going to come on down today and do my thing and tell everybody, please pray for me because I need your prayer. This is a heavy case. This is a heavy case that we're taking on. And I'm fighting a lot of lawyers, and I'm going to win. Well, me and Jesus, we're going to win. Let me put it that way. No, we're going to win. No, we're going to win. But I want you to know that I won't be available as much now until I get this case under my belt. Like I was last year, before I could come every day, happy-go-lucky. I'm just busy right now. I am. We got a big wedding coming up on Saturday. This wedding's over, I'm going to sleep. First of all, I'm going to the place and I'm going to eat, then I'm going to sleep. That's what I'm going to do after this wedding. That's coming up on Sunday, rather, I'm sorry. Wedding coming up on Sunday. So all this stuff is going on. And, we lost a good elder, Shannon and I still don't know what to do with that. I've been still processing that before the Lord. So it's been a very busy time for us. But I need you to pray for him, all right? Y'all pray for him. Say, Pastor Mayonnaise, he's not live today, but we're going to watch anyway. Otherwise, I tell you what, you fool around and I find out that you are not watching because I'm not live, I'm going to put Sister Angela Kane on you from South Carolina. Let me tell you something. You don't want to deal with no South Carolina woman. You don't want to deal with no South Carolina woman with an attitude. I will I will put Sister Angela Kane on you if you stop coming to the broadcast every day. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. You don't want that woman after you. All right, Mr. Check me. Can I take a break? I'll be right back, everybody. I'm going away. I'll be right back.
I'm calling from Clarksville, West Virginia, and I'm an African-American woman, and I saw the YouTube video, and I'm of God. where two more gathered shall be done. I'm claiming the name of Jesus. Said God will not let your church be taken. Obama was never of God, and he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the things that are going on in our government now is of his doing and Biden's, and it's not going to last because we are the call. We are the chosen. I stand in the gap with you, and you take it all the way to the state Supreme Court and U.S. Supreme Court if you have. God's going to restore, and he's not going to let this church fall. So I thank you and Pastor Mandy for presenting this on YouTube, because me living in West Virginia never would have known this was going on. And as a Christian, a child of living God, I never would have been able to pray for you. But now I know what to pray for. And now you're in my prayers. You guys, God bless you. You're going to keep this church. God's not going to let it fall. Good night. Bye.
Y'all know I'm up here in New York with all these liberal people. Come on now, down in Oklahoma. Come on, Oklahoma. Come on, Tennessee. Come on, Texas. Come on, Alabama. Come on, Arkansas. Come on, Georgia. Come on, South Carolina. Come on, Florida. Come on, North Carolina. Come on, Ohio. Come on, Indiana. Come on now. I'm up here in New York all by myself, and you know it. All these liberals up here, and you know it. Up here all alone. And not just that, I'm in the most black people racism and all I do. Listen, if you get rid of black people racism, all other racism will fall off the planet. And here I am, up in Harlem, all by and y'all don't want to help me. You don't want to help me. And I'm here, waiting to hear the Lord say, well done, my good and faithful servant. I'm not a favorite of the Democrat Party. I ain't a favor of the Republican Party. By the way, you know, the Republicans tried to do to me what the liberal Democrats did to Bishop Kaufman. You know, they wined and dined him, you know, gave him a lot of money and drove him around and had him speaking all over the place. The Republican Party almost did that to me as well. But when Donald Trump came along, I said, enough is enough is enough. I ain't going down that road with y'all. Gerald Kaufman, Bishop Kaufman went down that road and God killed him. But I'm up here all by myself. I'm up here liberal, and y'all sit there in Oklahoma and out there in New Mexico and there in Louisiana, and you listen to me every day. I'm all by you. You know it. I ain't got no friends up here, and you know it. And all the black people don't like me either. They don't. And let's not talk about the LGBTQ. I don't even have to talk about what they think about me. And you sit there every day and won't help me. All right, y'all, I need some help. Now, I need you to pray for me, but I need some financial help. I do. You know, inflation is off the chart. The things are very expensive, and I just need, you know, let me tell you something. Can I talk? I'm going to tell you this, you know. We here at this church feed hungry children. You know, Jeff Bridges has a commercial he's running on television now. I forget the name of it. Where he provides. Jeff Bridges, he's the son of Lord Bridges, who used to play that guy in Sea Hunt. Remember that years ago, way back, Sea Hunt. With his son, Jeff Bridges, has a charitable organization that raises money to feed children. And I want to tell you that we have been doing it for years. We've been feeding children for years. Children leave their home, and they don't have anything in the refrigerator. But when they get here, they can get a full course meal. And I talked to Elder LaFleur about the meals, and you know they can get fruit with their breakfast, their eggs, you know their sausage, their milk and oatmeal and fruit and all that at breakfast, and then lunch is just as good. But you have to know this: they're children that's gonna go to bed tonight in Harlem. And they know when they wake up in the morning, there ain't going to be nothing for them to eat. But they know if they can come to this church. And please listen to me. They know if they can come to this church, and they won't say anything. They're not going to tell you that they're hungry. They're not going to do that. But they know if they can come to this church, they're going to be able to get a breakfast meal. They're going to feel good. They're going to eat. They can go back for seconds or thirds if they want. They know that. I need you to help me do that. I need you. Come on, everybody. You need to send me some money. You need to send me some money. You need to send me some money. So I can keep feeding these children. Do you know what it is for a child? A child who doesn't have any food in the house, and but they know there's food at the Outlaw Church. They know this, and they get here, and they don't come in and you know they say well you know and everybody gets served, Everybody can eat as much as they want. I need y'all to send me some money. I do. I need you to pray for me too, but I need y'all to send me some money. One thing the children of Harlem know, that if there ain't no food in their house, there's food in this house. In the outlaw house, there's food here. And the other thing I want to give a shout out to is all the cooks that go in that kitchen, clean the kitchen, scrub the floor, get down on their knees, scrub the floor, scrub the pots and pans. We don't have no dishwasher. You have to wash them with elbow grease. That's clean up the stove, clean up everything, scrub all the plates and everything. I want to give a shout out to all our cooks and teachers that cook the wholesome meals and do it with a loving smile. This is a miracle house. I need y'all to send me some money. Now I do. Now just sit there, knowing that I'm feeding children, knowing that and you know that I do. You know it ain't no secret. Everybody knows it. You need to help me. All right? Praise the Lord. Thank you for your giving. And y'all need to join this church as well. Now listen, there's a big brouhaha going on between the two black justices on the team. Ketanji Brown Jackson accuses Clarence Thomas of having, and I quote, an obsession with race consciousness, close quote, and relying on, I quote again, many more straw men than can be listed in his affirmative action opinion. This is going to get good. I hope they make a movie out of this, right? Mr. Engineer, you have that put up on the screen. It says the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action in college admissions in a 6-3 decision on Thursday. The court's two black justices sharply criticized each other's arguments in their opinions. Ketanji Brown Jackson said Clarence Thomas's opinion showed an obsession with race consciousness. The United States Supreme Court struck down affirmative action in the college admission and the 6-3 decision on Thursday, blocking higher education institutions from considering race in admission decisions, right? And the centrality of race to the case promoted a war of words between the court's two black, now they're Hamites, but they're two black justices in their respective opinions, with each offering starkly different views of the role that race should play in decision-making in policymakers writ large. In his own 57-page long concurring opinion, Associate Justice Clarence Thomas, a staunch conservative appointed by Republican President George Herbert Walker Bush, argued that all forms of discrimination based on race, including so-called affirmative action, are prohibited under the U.S. Constitution, offering a full-throated defense of colorblindness in the founding document. Okay. At times, he also made direct criticisms of the dissenting opinion put forward by Associate Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, a liberal justice appointed to the court by President Joe Biden last year. Keep on reading. It says, and I quote, as she sees things, we are all inexorably trapped in a fundamentally racist society with the original sin of slavery, and the historical subjugation of black Americans still determining our lives today, close quote, wrote Thomas. Worse still, Justice Jackson uses her broad observation about statistical relationships between race and select measures of health, wealth, and well-being to label all blacks as victims. Her desire to do so is unfathomable to me, close quote, Thomas wrote. And he said, I cannot, again, a quote, I cannot deny the great accomplishments of black Americans, including those who succeeded despite long odds, close quote. Thomas went on to argue that Jackson's race-infused worldview falls flat at each step and is siloing us all into racial caste and putting those castes against each other, Thomas wrote. An obsession with race consciousness, Jackson Brown's 29-page dissent is dedicated to explaining the universal benefits of considering race, close quote. In higher education, arguing that such considerations are important due to the intergenerational transmission of inequality that originated with slavery and continued through subsequent government policies in the decades since then. Given our history, Jackson writes, the origin of persistent race-linked gaps should be no mystery, Jackson wrote. History speaks. In some forms, it can be heard forever. The race-based gaps that first developed centuries ago are echoes from the past that still exist today. By all accounts, they are still stark. She also defended the admission process of the University of North Carolina, noting that the application's disclosure of their race on admission form is voluntary, while lauding the institution for embracing its controversial obligation to afford genuine equal protection to its applicants. And that's just enough of the reading of that. That's a little bit more. So they're fighting one another. And they're using fancy language to do it. You say, oh, that's one of the words I'm reading. I guess I have to do that because they're justices, right? Supreme Court justice. So you can't be writing like a truck driver. No, I guess you got truck drivers. I ain't got nothing against truck drivers. But it's interesting to see that they're going at one another, those two. I'm not for either one of them. I think they're both phonier than a $3 bill, if you ask me. And I don't think neither one of them should be on the court. But, you know, and Clarence Thomas is really, I mean, you're talking about race. You know, these two, right? Thomas is married to a white woman. Her name is Virginia Thomas, right? And Ketanji Brown's married to, was she married to a Jewish or a white man? What is it with this? And then out there they're arguing about, you know, which side of black is blacker. We're living in a pretty messed up world. I think I need to go down there to Washington and straighten these things out. Y'all want me to go down there to Washington? I think I need to go down there to Washington and straighten this mess out, right? Because the first thing let me tell you something. You know what? You better watch out. I tell you what. What's her name? Beyonce. Beyonce, you better watch out, girl. You better watch out. Because I'll tell you something, these black men, when they get money and power, the first thing they do is grab a white woman. Ask Tiger Woods. So I'm telling Beyonce, girl, you better watch yourself. Because that boy Jay-Z got money. And he's been hanging around, and I'm not racist or anything in that regard, been hanging around with those Jews out of Brooklyn. And that boy, Beyonce, that boy Jay-Z got some money. And they usually get a lot of money, they like to walk down the street holding the hand of a white woman, not a black woman like you. So girl, you better watch yourself. Ooh, you better watch, because you see with these two, got power. First thing they do is marry somebody. And the other thing is what's that president, Kamala Harris? She's married to a Jewish guy too. I'm telling you, Beyonce, I'm telling you, you watch yourself, girl. Watch yourself carefully, because Jay-Z might be tipping out. And then he'll give you tell you, find somebody else. Go up there in Harlem, get you one of them black men up there in Harlem. All right, man, I've got to cut out. And I told y'all that it's me and Jesus against probably another 50 lawyers. When you combine the lawyer staff of Mellon Bank and the law department of the city of New York, they got a lot of lawyers. We're going to win. No, we are, but I just need you to understand that I won't be live every day, but keep coming and listening and praying for us and sending us some money, because you know we need it. You know we do. You know we do. Get an envelope. Go to Cash App. You can do a Cash App, right? Go to Cash App and send us something, because you know we need it. So I don't even know if I'll be back this week. I'm going to try to come back if I can. And if something breaks in terms of newsworthiness, then I'll show up. But I want y'all to know I'm not getting lazy. I've been slipping and sliding, peeping and hiding. I've been busy. I really, really have been the busiest time of my life. I've never been as busy as this. I'm more busy than a Paisley Tie convention at this hour of my life. But praise God, thank God. So y'all keep on keeping on. All right, Mr. Engineer.
master say? Did you give your support, or did you walk away? And how many times did you hear the Lord say? Did you give your obedience? Did you just walk away? Did you just walk away? Did you walk away? Did you just walk away? Just walk away. Did you just walk away? Did you walk away? Did you just walk away? Just walk away. Proverbs 3, verse 5. The word of the Lord says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Did you walk away? Did you walk away? Did you just walk away? Did you walk away? Did you walk away? Did you just walk away? How many times did you hear Jesus say? Did you give yourself, or did you walk away?